E se fosse stato soltanto un sogno?
God bless you, Florida. Thank you.
Se i fatti di questi ultimi 4 anni non fossero realmente accaduti? Guardate, c'era Ben Affleck. Appare spesso nei miei sogni. E quello di Taxi Driver. C'era anche lui. E Stevie Wonder, con l'aria beata di uno che si sente parte di un miracolo. È stato un sogno? O è successo davvero? Era la notte elettorale del 2000 e tutto sembrava andare per il verso giusto.
In New York, Al Gore is our projected winner.
The Garden State is green for Gore.
We project that Mr. Gore is the winner in Delaware. This state has voted with the winner in
Excuse me 1 second. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Mike, you know I wouldn't do this if it weren't big. Florida goes for Al Gore.
CNN announces that we call Florida in the Al Gore column.
Finché un certo canale che risponde al nome di Fox News cominciò a dare vincitore l'altro candidato.
Not to interrupt you, Fox News now projects George W. Bush the winner in Florida and thus it appears the winner of the presidency of the United States.
Tutto a un tratto le altre TV dissero: ragazzi, se l'ha detto Fox News deve essere vero.
All of us at the networks made a mistake and projected Florida in the Al Gore column. It was our mistake.
La cosa che molti ignorano è che l'uomo che quella sera dirigeva le operazioni a Fox News, l'uomo che aveva dato Bush vincitore, era suo cugino John Ellis Bush. Com'è stato possibile per uno come Bush riuscire in un'impresa del genere? Innanzitutto, avere un fratello governatore dello stato in questione aiuta.
You know something? We are going to win Florida. Mark my words. You can write it down.
Non è male, poi, se la coordinatrice della vostra campagna elettorale è anche la responsabile delle operazioni di scrutinio e se lo Stato ha incaricato una ditta di aggiornare le liste elettorali escludendo quelli meno inclini a votare per voi. Di solito si riconoscono dal colore della pelle. Aiuta inoltre a avere sostenitori pronti a immolarsi.
I think all this talk about legitimacy is way overblown.
E sperare che i vostri avversari stiano zitti e buoni ad aspettare che squilli il telefono. E anche se diverse inchieste indipendenti dimostreranno che Gore ha ottenuto più voti,
If there was a statewide recount under every scenario, Gore won the election.
Poco importa, dal momento che tutti gli amici di papà alla Corte Suprema fanno la cosa giusta.
While I strongly disagree with the court's decision, I accept it.
What we need now is acceptance. We have a new president-elect.
No, signori, non è stato un sogno. È accaduto davvero. Il giorno in cui la Camera dei rappresentanti e il Senato degli Stati Uniti, in seduta congiunta, dovevano ufficializzare i risultati elettorali, Al Gore, nella duplice veste di vicepresidente uscente e di presidente del Senato, si trovò a presiedere il cerimoniale che avrebbe consacrato George W. Bush nuovo presidente. Qualora un membro della Camera dei rappresentanti avesse voluto presentare un'interpellanza, la norma imponeva che godesse dell'appoggio espresso per iscritto di almeno un senatore.
Mr. President, and I take great pride in calling you that, I must object because of the overwhelming evidence of official misconduct, deliberate fraud, and an attempt to suppress voter turnout.
The chair must remind members that under Section 18 of Title III, United States Code, no debate is allowed in the joint session.
Thank you, Mr. President. To answer your question, Mr. President, the objection is in writing, signed by a number of members of the House of Representatives, but not by a member of the Senate.
Mr. President, it is in writing and signed by several House colleagues on behalf and myself of the 27,000 voters of Duval County, in which 16,000 of them are African Americans that was disenfranchised in this last election.
Is the objection signed by a member of the Senate?
Not signed by a member of the Senate. The Senate is missing.
Mr. President, it is in writing and signed by myself on behalf of many of the diverse constituents in our country, especially those in the 9th Congressional District, and all American voters who recognize that the Supreme Court, not the people of the United States, decided this election.
Is the objection signed by a senator?
Unfortunately, Mr. President, it is not signed by one single senator.
Unfortunately, I have no authority over the United States Senate, and no senator has signed.
Mr. President, it is in writing and signed by myself and several of my constituents from Florida. A senator is needed, but missing.
Is the objection in writing and signed by a member of the House and a senator?
The objection is in writing, and I don't care that it is not signed by a member of the Senate.
The chair will advise that the rules do care, and the signature of the senator.
Non un solo senatore venne in aiuto dei parlamentari afroamericani. Uno dopo l'altro vennero zittiti e rimandati al loro posto.
And it's a sad day in America, Mr. President, when we can't find a senator to sign
The gentleman will suspend.
Won't sign rejections, Mr. President.
The gentleman will suspend.
Inauguration coverage, 2001, on a nasty but it could be worse kind of day in Washington.
Il giorno dell'insediamento di George W. Bush, decine di migliaia di americani si riversarono nelle strade di Washington nell'estremo tentativo di farsi restituire ciò che si erano visti togliere. Lanciarono uova contro l'auto di Bush e costrinsero il corteo presidenziale a fermarsi. La tradizionale passeggiata del neoeletto fino alla Casa Bianca diventò una corsa. Nel timore che scoppiassero disordini, l'autista di Bush premette l'acceleratore. Nessun presidente americano aveva mai assistito a un simile spettacolo il giorno del proprio insediamento. E negli 8 mesi successivi le cose non andarono affatto meglio per George W. Bush. Non riuscì a far nominare i giudici che voleva, incontrò difficoltà nel far approvare le sue leggi e i repubblicani persero la maggioranza al Senato. Nei sondaggi la sua popolarità iniziò a diminuire. Era già riuscito a dimostrarsi un presidente non rieleggibile. Visto che non c'era una sola cosa che girasse per il verso giusto, fece quello che avrebbe fatto chiunque di noi: se ne andò in vacanza. Negli 8 mesi che precedono l'11 settembre, il tempo dedicato da George W. Bush alle vacanze ammonta, secondo il Washington Post, al 42% del totale. Non deve sorprenderci che Bush avesse bisogno di un po' di riposo. È faticoso fare il presidente.
They don't understand the definition of work, then. Getting a lot done. Secondly, you don't have to be in Washington to work. It's amazing what can happen with telephones and faxes. And just a destiny above. Yeah. What are you doing the rest of the day? Karen Hughes is coming over. We're working on some things. And she'll be over here. We're working on a few things, a few matters. I'm working on some initiatives. You'll see. I mean, there'll be some decisions that I will have made while I'm here, and we'll be announcing them as time goes on.
In occasione del nostro primo incontro, mi aveva dato un buon consiglio.
Governor Bush, it's Michael Moore.
Behave yourself, will you? Don't find real work.
Lui sì che sapeva cosa vuol dire lavorare.
Anybody want some grits?
Un po' di relax a Camp David, gite in barca a Kennebunkport.
How you doing?
O fare il presidente cowboy giù in Texas.
I love the nature. I love to get in the pickup truck with my dogs. Oh, hi.
George W. Bush trascorse il resto del mese d'agosto al ranch, dove la vita era meno complicata.
Armadillo loved to dig the soil looking for bugs. And so I went out there the other day, and there was Barney buried in his hole, chasing an armadillo.
Un'estate davvero memorabile, alla fine della quale avrebbe lasciato il Texas per raggiungere un altro luogo da lui amato. Il 10 settembre venne accolto da suo fratello Jeb in Florida. Insieme a lui esaminò documenti e incontrò eminenti personalità locali. Quella sera andò a dormire in un letto preparato con lussuose lenzuola francesi.
You suppose he's pretty confident on those numbers on Iraqi security forces?
Make me look young. Yeah, I got a little sort of air noise. Yeah, just don't turn it up too much so I don't want to blow my head off.
I got a mic here if they want to hear. Testing 1 2. This is the Oval Office. We're testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. This is the Oval Office. Testing 1 2 3 4 5.
Something that has happened here at the World Trade Center. We noticed flame and an awful lot of smoke.
L'11 settembre 2001, circa 3.000 persone, tra le quali il mio collega Bill Wims, persero la vita nel più cruento attacco mai sferrato da forze straniere in territorio americano. Obiettivi dell'attacco: i centri nevralgici della finanza e della difesa degli Stati Uniti.
If anyone has any idea, or if they've seen him or knows where he is, to call us. He's got two little babies.
Al momento dell'attacco, Bush si stava recando in visita in una scuola elementare in Florida. Informato dell'impatto del primo aereo sul World Trade Center, già bersaglio di un attentato terroristico 8 anni prima, Bush decise che un'occasione di posare per i fotografi non andava sprecata per nessun motivo.
Read this word the fast way. Get ready. Yes, man. Get ready. Yeah.
dopo l'impatto del secondo aereo, il capo di gabinetto della Casa Bianca entrò nell'aula e disse a Bush: «La nazione è stata attaccata». Non sapendo cosa fare, non essendoci nessuno che gli suggerisse cosa fare, e visto che gli uomini dei servizi segreti non lo stavano prelevando di peso per trasferirlo in un luogo sicuro, Bush non si scompose e continuò a leggere La mia capretta insieme ai bambini. Per circa 7 minuti nessuno mosse un dito. Mentre sedeva in quell'aula della Florida, cosa pensava Bush? Che forse si sarebbe dovuto presentare più spesso in ufficio? Che dopo l'insediamento avrebbe dovuto tenere almeno una riunione per discutere della minaccia del terrorismo con il responsabile dell'antiterrorismo? O magari Bush si chiedeva perché aveva tagliato i fondi antiterrorismo dell'FBI. Forse avrebbe dovuto leggere l'informativa sulla sicurezza che gli era stata consegnata il 6 agosto 2001, nella quale si diceva che Osama Bin Laden progettava di attaccare l'America dirottando aerei di linea. Oppure la minaccia terrorista non lo preoccupava più di tanto perché il titolo dell'informativa era troppo vago.
I believe the title was Bin Laden determined to attack inside the United States.
Un simile documento avrebbe fatto sobbalzare chiunque. Ma come nei giorni precedenti, George W. andò semplicemente a pescare. I minuti passavano e lui sedeva imperterrito in quell'aula. Chissà, forse stava pensando: accidenti, mi sa che ho frequentato le persone sbagliate. Chi di loro mi ha fregato? Quel tipo coi baffi a cui gli amici di papà hanno fornito armamenti a profusione? O quel gruppo di fondamentalisti che è venuto a visitare il Texas quando ero governatore? O sono stati i sauditi? Accidenti, sono stati loro. Sarà meglio dare la colpa a quello coi baffi. Nei giorni successivi all'11 settembre, tutti i voli di linea e privati vennero cancellati.
The FAA has taken the action to close all of the airports in the United States.
Even grounding the president's father, former President Bush, on a flight forced to land in Milwaukee.
Thousands of travelers were stranded, among them Ricky Martin, due to appear at tonight's Latin Grammy Awards.
Non poté volare neppure Ricky Martin. Ma in effetti chi aveva voglia di volare? Nessuno. Tranne i Bin Laden.
We had some airplanes authorized at the highest levels of our government to fly to pick up Osama bin Laden's family members and others from Saudi Arabia and transport them out of this country.
È dimostrato che la Casa Bianca permise che diversi aerei imbarcassero membri della famiglia Bin Laden e numerosi altri sauditi. Dopo il 13 settembre almeno 6 jet privati e una ventina di aerei commerciali portarono cittadini sauditi e parenti di Osama fuori dagli Stati Uniti. In totale a 142 sauditi, tra cui 24 membri della famiglia Bin Laden, fu consentito di lasciare il paese.
Osama's always been portrayed as the bad apple, the black sheep in the family, and that they cut off all relationship with him around 1994. In fact, things are much more complicated than that.
You mean Osama has had contact with other family members?
That's right. In the summer of 2001, just before 9/11, one of Osama's sons got married in Afghanistan, and several family members showed up at the wedding.
Bin Laden?
That's right. So they've not cut off completely. That's really an exaggeration.
We now welcome to Larry King Live. Good to see him again. Prince Bandar, the ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to the United States.
We had about 24 members of Bin Laden's family. And in America, students, and His Majesty felt it's not fair for those innocent people to be subjected to any harm. On the other hand, we understood had a high emotion, so with coordination with the FBI, we got them all out.
Questo signore è Jack Clunan, agente dell'FBI in pensione. Prima dell'11 settembre aveva compiti di rilievo nella task force congiunta FBI-CIA incaricata di contrastare Al-Qaeda.
I, as an investigator, would not want these people to have left. I think in the case of the Bin Laden family, I think it would have been prudent. Hand the subpoenas out, have them come in, get on the record. You know, get on the record.
That's the proper procedure.
Yeah. How many people were pulled off of airlines after that coming into the country who were what? They were from the Middle East, or they fit a very general picture.
We held hundreds, and weeks and months at a time.
Did the authorities do anything when the Bin Ladens tried to leave the country?
No, they were identified at the airport. They looked at their passports, and they were identified.
Well, that's what would happen to you or I if we were leaving the country.
Exactly.
So a little interview, check the passport, what else?
Nothing.
Non so come la pensiate voi, ma di solito, quando la polizia dà la caccia a un assassino, non va a fare 4 chiacchiere coi suoi familiari per sentire se sanno dove può essersi nascosto.
You have no idea where your husband might be. Well, if you should hear anything, let us know, will you? You willing to come downtown, give us a statement?
This gonna take long.
You got the time?
Mine's worth money, yours isn't.
Send in a bill.
I asked you a question.
You're here to answer them, not ask them.
Now, you listen to me, cop. I pay your salary.
All right, sit down. I'm gonna earn it.
Ecco cosa fanno i poliziotti seri. Allora come la mettiamo?
I think we need to know a lot more about that. That needs to be the subject of a significant investigation. What happened? How did it happen? Why did it happen? And who authorized it?
Trying to imagine what those poor bastards were feeling when they were jumping out of that building to their death. Those young guys and cops and firemen that ran into that building, never asked a question, and they're dead. And families' lives are ruined. And they'll never have peace. And if I had to inconvenience a member of the Bin Laden family with a subpoena or a grand jury, do you think I'd lose any sleep over it? Not for a minute, Mike.
No one would question it.
No, it's right.
Not even the biggest civil libertarian.
No, it's
no
just,
one would question
it's just, you know, you got a lawyer, fine. Counselor, fine. Mr. Bin Laden, this is why I'm asking you. It's not because I think that you're anything. I just want to ask you the questions that I would anybody.
Right.
And that's all.
Tutto ciò non aveva senso. Vi immaginate il presidente Clinton che nei giorni immediatamente successivi all'attentato terroristico di Oklahoma City organizza un viaggio all'estero per la famiglia McVeigh? Secondo voi cosa gli sarebbe successo se la cosa fosse trapelata?
Mr. Bandar, do you know the Bin Laden family?
I do very well.
What are they like?
They're really lovely human beings. He is the only one I don't know him well, but I met him only once.
What was the circumstance under which you met him?
This is ironic. In mid-80s, if you remember, we in the United States were supporting the Mujahideen to liberate Afghanistan from the Soviets. He came to thank me for my efforts to bring the Americans, our friends, to help us against the atheists, he said, the communists. Isn't it ironic?
In other words, he came to thank you for helping bring America to help him. And now he may be responsible for bombing America.
Absolutely.
What did you make of him when you met him?
I was not impressed, to be honest with you.
Not impressed?
No, I thought he was simple and very quiet guy.
Insomma, il classico bravo ragazzo, la cui famiglia, guarda caso, intratteneva rapporti d'affari con la famiglia di George W. Bush. È a questo che stava pensando? Perché l'opinione pubblica, se l'avesse saputo, non l'avrebbe presa benissimo. Chissà se si stava dicendo: ecco, quello che ci vuole adesso è un bel pennarello nero. All'inizio del 2004, durante un comizio per le primarie nel New Hampshire, affermai che George W. Bush, all'epoca della sua ferma nell'aeronautica della Guardia Nazionale del Texas, aveva disertato. Per tutta risposta, la Casa Bianca diffuse copia del suo stato di servizio, sperando di far cadere l'accusa. Quello che Bush ignorava è che io avevo già una copia del suo stato di servizio non filtrata dalla censura. L'avevo ottenuta nel 2000. E c'è una differenza eclatante tra la versione del documento uscita dagli archivi militari nel 2000 e quella fatta circolare da lui nel 2004. Un nome è stato cancellato. Nel 1972 2 ufficiali erano stati sospesi dalle missioni di volo per aver omesso di sottoporsi alla visita medica obbligatoria. Uno era George W. Bush. L'altro era James R. Beth. Nella versione del 2000, nel documento sono leggibili entrambi i nomi, mentre nel 2004 Bush e la Casa Bianca hanno coperto di nero il nome di Beth. Perché Bush non voleva che la stampa e l'opinione pubblica vedessero il nome di Beth sul suo stato di servizio? Forse temeva che gli americani venissero a sapere che per un certo periodo James R. Beth aveva gestito gli interessi economici dei Bin Laden in Texas. Bush e Beth avevano fatto amicizia all'epoca in cui prestavano entrambi servizio nell'aeronautica della Guardia Nazionale. Dopo il congedo, quando Bush padre era capo della CIA, Beth mise in piedi una società di servizi aerei, subito dopo aver venduto un aeroplano a un certo Salem bin Laden, erede del secondo patrimonio saudita in ordine di grandezza, il Saudi Bin Laden Group.
W at that time was just starting off in the world as a businessman. Because he's a guy who's always tried to emulate his father, he decided to go into the oil business. He founded an oil company, a drilling company out in West Texas called Arbusto, which was very, very good at drilling dry holes that nothing came out of. But the question has always been, where did this money come from? Now, his dad was rich. His dad could have done this for him, but his dad didn't do this for him. There's no indication that Daddy wrote a check to start him off in this company.
E allora, quei soldi, George W. Bush come se li procurò?
I'm George Bush.
Uno che sicuramente investì su di lui fu proprio James R. Beth. L'amico fraterno di Bush era stato ingaggiato dalla famiglia Bin Laden per gestire il patrimonio che questa deteneva in Texas e aiutarla a investire. E James Beth, a sua volta, investì su George W. Bush. Bush mandò in rovina l'Arbusto, come del resto tutte le altre imprese nelle quali aveva voce in capitolo, finché, finalmente, una delle sue società venne acquisita dalla Harken Energy, che in più gli diede un posto in consiglio d'amministrazione.
A lot of us have suspected through the years that there has been Saudi oil money involved in all of these companies. Harken, Spectrum 7, Arbusto Drilling, all of the Bush companies. Whenever they got into trouble, there were these angel investors who flowed money into the companies.
So the question is, why would Saudis, who had all the oil in the world, go around the globe to invest in this lousy oil company? And the thing is, it had one big asset. Harken had one thing going for it, which is that George W. Bush was on its board of directors at a time when his father was president of the United States.
When you're the president's son and you've got unlimited access combined with some credentials from a prior campaign, in Washington, D.C., people tend to respect that. I mean, access is power. And I can find my dad and talk to him any time of the day.
Eh sì, essere figlio del presidente aiuta. Specialmente quando sei indagato dalla SEC, la Commissione per le Società e la Borsa.
In 1990, when Mr. Bush was a director of Harken Energy, he received this memo from company lawyers, warning directors not to sell stock if they had unfavorable information about the company. 1 week later, he sold $848,000 worth of Harken stock. 2 months later, Harken announced losses of more than $23 million.
Il socio dello studio legale di James Baker, che aiutò Bush a farsi beffe della SEC, era un certo Robert Jordan, il quale, quando George W. Bush divenne presidente, venne nominato ambasciatore degli Stati Uniti in Arabia Saudita. Dopo il disastro della Harken, gli amici di papà fecero avere a George W. un'altra poltrona di consigliere d'amministrazione in una società controllata dal gruppo Carlyle.
We wanted to look at which companies actually gained from September 11th. Turned up this company, Carlyle Group. The Carlyle Group is a multinational conglomerate that invests in heavily government-regulated industries like telecommunications, healthcare, and particularly defense. Both George W. Bush and George H.W. Bush worked for the Carlyle Group, the same company that counted the Bin Laden family among its investors. Carlyle Group was holding its annual investor conference on the morning of September 11th in the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Washington, D.C. At that meeting were all of the Carlyle regulars. James Baker, likely John Major, definitely George H.W. Bush, though he left the morning of September 11th. Shafiq bin Laden, who is Osama bin Laden's half-brother, and was in town to look after his family's investments in the Carlyle Group. All of them together in one room watching as the planes hit the towers, and that in fact the bin Laden family was invested in one of their defense funds, which ironically meant that as the United States started increasing its defense spending, the bin Laden family stood to gain from those investments through the Carlyle Group.
Our Commander-in-Chief, President George W. Bush.
Contando tutte le fabbriche di armamenti di cui aveva il controllo, il gruppo Carlyle era in sostanza l'11° fornitore della difesa statunitense in ordine di grandezza. Possedeva tra le altre la United Defense, produttrice del veicolo corazzato da combattimento Bradley. I fatti dell'11 settembre assicurarono alla United Defense un'annata particolarmente prospera. Appena 6 settimane dopo l'11 settembre, il gruppo Carlyle chiese il collocamento in borsa della United Defense e in dicembre realizzò in un giorno un guadagno di 237 milioni di dollari. Ma a causa del clamore suscitato dalla loro presenza tra gli investitori del gruppo, i Bin Laden alla fine furono costretti a ritirarsi. Ciò nonostante, Bush padre mantenne il posto di consulente amministrativo della filiale asiatica del gruppo per altri 2 anni.
As unseemly as it seems to know that George H.W. Bush was meeting with the Bin Laden family while Osama was a wanted terrorist well before September 11th, it's very discomforting for Americans to know that. George H.W. Bush is a man who has obviously incredible reach into the White House. He receives daily CIA briefings, which is the right of any ex-president, but very few ex-presidents actually exercise that right. He does. And I think in a very real way, they are benefiting from the confusion that arises when George H.W. Bush visits Saudi Arabia on behalf of Carlyle and meets with the royal family and meets with the Bin Laden family. Is he representing the United States of America, or is he representing an investment firm in the United States of America, or is he representing both? This company is about money. It's not about conspiracies to run the world or engineer political maneuvering and things like that. It's about making money, and it's about making a lot of money, and they've done very well.
I can get you on the record on this question. In the White House view, there's no ethical conflict in former President Bush and former Secretary of State Jim Baker using their contacts with world leaders to represent one of the most well-known military arms dealers, the Carlyle Group.
The President has full faith that his family will conform with all proper ethics laws, and will act properly in their conduct.
Dunque, mettiamo che un gruppo di persone, i cittadini americani, vi paghi $400.000 all'anno per fare il presidente degli Stati Uniti e che nel contempo un altro gruppo di persone investa su di voi, sui vostri amici e sulle relative attività $1,4 miliardi nel giro di pochi anni. A chi volete più bene? A chi dite sì papà? Perché è questa la cifra che la famiglia reale saudita e i suoi soci hanno versato ai Bush, ai loro amici e alle relative attività negli ultimi 3 decenni. È così irriverente azzardare che i Bush la mattina, quando si svegliano, forse sono più inclini a preoccuparsi degli interessi dei sauditi piuttosto che del bene dei cittadini americani? Con $1,4 miliardi non solo si comprano tutti i biglietti aerei che servono per lasciare in fretta un paese, ma anche la devozione di una classe dirigente. Prima o poi lo stretto legame con un regime condannato da Amnesty International per le reiterate violazioni dei diritti umani finirà per ritorcersi contro la famiglia Bush. Dopo l'11 settembre questa amicizia era diventata motivo di imbarazzo istituzionale, al punto che era meglio non fare domande impertinenti.
The investigation should have begun on September 12th. There's no reason why it shouldn't have. 3,000 people were dead, it was a murder, and it should have gotten started immediately.
Bush cercò di impedire la costituzione di una commissione parlamentare d'inchiesta.
It's important for us to not reveal how we collect information. That's what the enemy wants. And we're fighting an enemy.
Non potendo fermare il Parlamento, cercò di impedire che venisse istituita una commissione d'inchiesta indipendente.
The president's position was a break from history. Independent investigations were launched within days of Pearl Harbor and President Kennedy's assassination.
Ma quando il Parlamento terminò la sua inchiesta, la Casa Bianca censurò 28 pagine della relazione conclusiva.
The president is being pressed by all sides to declassify the report. U.S. officials tell NBC News most of the secret sources involve Saudi Arabia.
We have given extraordinary cooperation
with Chairman Keane and Hamilton?
We haven't gotten the materials we needed, and we certainly haven't gotten them in a timely fashion. The deadlines we set have passed.
Will you testify before the commission?
This commission? You know, I don't testify. I mean, I'd be glad to visit with them.
What it will do is hold this in my heart and has been in my heart since September 11th. I lost my husband, 15 years. I'm now by myself. I need to know what happened to him. I know what I got back from the autopsy. That man was my life, and I have no plan. I was taking a class, and they asked me what was I going to do in the next 5 years. And if I'm not doing something with this, I don't know what reason I have to live. So it's very important. Very important. Okay.
Nell'indifferenza dell'amministrazione Bush, più di 500 familiari delle vittime dell'11 settembre hanno fatto causa alla famiglia reale e ad altri sauditi. Indovinate a chi si è rivolto il ministro della difesa saudita per contrastare la loro iniziativa? Allo studio legale del confidente della famiglia Bush, James A. Baker.
So we're right here in the center of three important American landmarks, the Watergate Hotel and office building, the Kennedy Center over there, and the Embassy of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
How much money do the Saudis have invested in America, roughly?
I've heard figures as high as $860 billion.
860 billion.
Billion.
That's a lot of money.
A lot, yeah.
And what percentage of our economy does that represent? I mean, it seems like a lot.
Well, in terms of investments on Wall Street, American equities, it's roughly 6 or 7% of America. They own a fairly good slice of America.
Wow.
And most of that money goes into the great blue chip companies. Citigroup, Citibank is the largest stockholder, is a Saudi. AOL Time Warner has big Saudi investors.
So I read where like the Saudis have $1 trillion in our banks of their money. What would happen if like one day we just pulled that $1 trillion out?
$1 trillion, that would be an enormous blow to the economy.
Right.
Mr. Moore, can I speak to you for a moment, please, sir?
Yeah, sure.
How are you doing?
Yeah, good. How you doing?
Steve
Michael
Kimball
Moore?
with Secret
Hey.
Service. How are you
Oh,
doing,
how you doing, sir? Yes.
We're just ascertaining information regarding.
Oh,
Are you doing
okay.
a documentary regarding
Yes.
the Saudi Arabia embassy or chancery?
No, I am doing a documentary. And part of it is about Saudi Arabia.
Sebbene non ci trovassimo nelle immediate vicinanze della Casa Bianca, chissà come si erano materializzati due uomini dei servizi segreti per chiederci cosa stessimo facendo di fronte alla sede dell'ambasciata saudita.
Causing trouble or anything, and you know, is that?
No, that's fine. We just wanted to make sure. We just wanted to get some information as far as actually what was actually
What's going on? Yeah.
I didn't realize the Secret Service guards foreign embassies.
Not usually, no, sir.
No. Do they give you any trouble, Saudis?
No comment on that, regarding that, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll take that as a yes. All right, good. Thank you very much. Thanks for the work you do.
E così si scopre che il principe saudita Bandar è probabilmente l'ambasciatore meglio protetto che ci sia negli Stati Uniti. Il Dipartimento di Stato gli fornisce 6 uomini di scorta. Tutto sommato non è così strano se si considera che lui, i suoi parenti e il resto dell'aristocrazia saudita possiedono il 7% dell'America. Il principe Bandar era così vicino ai Bush che questi lo consideravano come un membro della famiglia, tanto che lo avevano soprannominato Bandar Bush. 2 giorni dopo l'11 settembre, George Bush invitò Bandar Bush alla Casa Bianca per una cena e un colloquio in forma privata. Sebbene Bin Laden fosse saudita e Al-Qaeda fosse finanziata da denaro saudita e 15 dei 19 dirottatori fossero sauditi, il 13 settembre l'ambasciatore saudita era a cena col presidente. Per dirsi cosa? Per deprecare l'accaduto? O magari scambiarsi appunti? Ma perché il governo del principe Bandar impedirà poi agli inquirenti americani di parlare coi familiari dei 15 dirottatori? Perché l'Arabia Saudita si mostrerà così riluttante a congelare i beni dei dirottatori? Dopo cena, i due si accomodarono in terrazza, dove Bandar fumò un sigaro e sorseggiò un liquore. Poco lontano, al di là del fiume Potomac, di un'ala del Pentagono, restavano solo le macerie. Chissà se Bush disse al principe Bandar che non doveva preoccuparsi, perché aveva un piano già in fase d'attuazione.
You come in September 12th, ready to plot what response we take to Al-Qaeda. Let me talk to
about the response that you got from top administration officials. On that day, what did the president say to you?
The president, in a very intimidating way, left us, me and my staff, with the clear indication that he wanted us to come back with the word that there was an Iraqi hand behind 9/11, because they had been planning to do something about Iraq from before the time they came into office.
Did he ask about any other nations other than Iraq?
No, not at all. It was Iraq, Saddam, find out, get back to me.
And were his questions more about Iraq than about al-Qaeda?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He didn't ask me about al-Qaeda.
And the reaction you got that day from the Defense Secretary, Donald Rumsfeld, from his assistant, Paul Wolfowitz?
Well, Donald Rumsfeld said, when we talked about bombing the al-Qaeda infrastructure in Afghanistan, he said there were no good targets in Afghanistan. Let's bomb Iraq. And we said, but Iraq had nothing to do with this. And that didn't seem to make much difference. And the reason they had to do Afghanistan first was it was obvious that al-Qaeda had attacked us, and it was obvious that al-Qaeda was in Afghanistan. The American people wouldn't have stood by if we had done nothing on Afghanistan.
Gli Stati Uniti cominciarono a bombardare l'Afghanistan appena 4 settimane dopo l'11 settembre. Bush disse che andava fatto perché il regime talebano al governo in Afghanistan dava rifugio a Bin Laden.
We will smoke him out of their holes. We're going to smoke him out. Smoke him out. We'll smoke him out of his cave. Let's rush him and smoke him out.
Nonostante il linguaggio da cowboy, Bush in realtà non fece granché.
But what they did was slow and small. They put only 11,000 troops into Afghanistan. There are more police here in Manhattan, than there are U.S. troops in Afghanistan. Basically, the president botched the response to 9/11. He should have gone right after bin Laden. U.S. Special Forces didn't get into the area where bin Laden was for 2 months.
2 mesi? Al terrorista che aveva attaccato il cuore degli Stati Uniti veniva concesso un vantaggio di 2 mesi? A chi era venuta questa idea geniale?
Anybody say nice shot?
Nice shot. Hell of a shot.
O per caso la guerra in Afghanistan aveva tutt'altre motivazioni? Forse la risposta va cercata a Houston, nel Texas. Nel 1997, quando Bush era ancora governatore del Texas, una delegazione di leader talebani si recò a Houston per incontrare i dirigenti della UNOCAL e discutere con loro la costruzione di un gasdotto che avrebbe dovuto far transitare il metano del Mar Caspio attraverso l'Afghanistan. E indovinate un po' chi ottenne un contratto di trivellazione nel Mar Caspio lo stesso giorno in cui la UNOCAL firmava l'accordo per il gasdotto? Una società presieduta da un certo Dick Cheney, la Halliburton.
From the point of view of the U.S. government, this was kind of a magic pipeline because it could serve so many purposes.
E chi ancora trasse vantaggio dal gasdotto? Il finanziatore numero 1 della campagna elettorale di Bush, Kenneth Lay, insieme agli altri bravi ragazzi della Enron. Solo la stampa britannica si interessò a questa storia. Poi, nel 2001, appena 5 mesi e mezzo prima dell'11 settembre, l'amministrazione Bush diede il benvenuto a un delegato di Kabul incaricato di fare un giro negli Stati Uniti per risollevare l'immagine del governo talebano.
You have imprisoned the women. It's a horror, let me tell you.
And I'm really sorry to your husband. He might have a very difficult time with you.
Qui lo vediamo in visita al Dipartimento di Stato per un incontro con funzionari statunitensi. Perché mai l'amministrazione Bush consentiva a un leader talebano di visitare gli Stati Uniti sapendo che i talebani davano rifugio al responsabile degli attentati al cacciatorpediniere Cole e alle nostre ambasciate in Africa? Comunque, in seguito all'11 settembre, cambiò tutto. Portata a termine l'invasione dell'Afghanistan, vi fu insediato un nuovo presidente, Hamid Karzai. Chi era Hamid Karzai? Un ex consulente della UNOCAL. Inoltre Bush nominò come rappresentante americano in Afghanistan Salmai Khalilzad, anch'egli ex consulente della UNOCAL. Cosa significa tutto questo lo capite da soli, vero? Più in fretta di quanto impieghereste voi per pronunciare le parole oro nero, l'Afghanistan firmò coi paesi confinanti un accordo per la costruzione del famoso gasdotto necessario all'esportazione del metano dal Mar Caspio. E i talebani? Beh, tagliarono la corda quasi tutti, compreso Osama Bin Laden e buona parte di Al-Qaeda.
Terror is bigger than one person, and he's a person who's now been marginalized. So I don't know where he is. Nor, I just don't spend that much time on him, Kelly, to be honest with you.
Non è che gli dedichi molto tempo. Ma che razza di presidente è?
I'm a war president. I make decisions here in the Oval Office in foreign policy matters with war on my mind.
Conclusa la guerra in Afghanistan e archiviato Bin Laden, il presidente di guerra aveva un nuovo obiettivo. Il popolo americano.
We've got an unusual terror warning from the feds to tell you about. Fox News has obtained an FBI bulletin that warns terrorists could use pen guns, just like in James Bond, filled with poison as weapons.
Good evening, everyone. America is on high alert tonight, just 4 days before Christmas.
A possible terror threat as bad as or worse than 9/11.
But where? How? There's nothing specific to report.
Be on the lookout for model airplanes packed with explosives.
And the FBI is warning ferries may be considered particularly at risk for hijacking.
Could these cattle be a target for terrorists?
Fear works.
Fear does work, yes. You can make people do anything if they're afraid.
And how do you make them afraid?
Well, you make them afraid by creating an aura of endless threat. They played us like an organ. They raised the orange, and then up to red, and then they dropped it back to orange. I mean, they gave these mixed messages which were crazy-making.
The world has changed after September the 11th. It's changed because we're no longer safe. Fly and enjoy America's great destination spots.
We've entered what may very well prove to be the most dangerous security environment the world's known.
Take your families and enjoy life.
Terrorists are doing everything they can to gain even deadlier means of striking us.
Get down to Disney World in Florida.
It's like training a dog. You tell them sit down and you tell them to roll over at the same time. Dog doesn't know what to do. Well, the American people were being treated like that. It was really very, very skillfully and ugly in what they did.
We must stop the terror. I call upon all nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist killers. Thank you. Now watch this drive. All right, you need another.
They will continue, in my view, as long as this administration is in charge, of every once in a while stimulating everybody to be afraid. Just in case you forgot. It's not going to go down to green or blue. It's never going to get there. There clearly is no way that anyone can live constantly on edge like that.
The harsh reality facing American families today is that they're not as safe as they used to be. Drug dealers and users looking for their next fix, gangs who roam the streets in search of their next victim, and the growing threat of terrorists means the need for protection is ever greater. And now that protection is here. Zytec Engineering, LLC, has developed and tested a safe room, finally affordable to the average American citizen, the kind of protection formerly obtainable only by the wealthy or powerful.
Heck, you can be sitting in here drinking your finest Bordeaux and enjoying life while chaos is erupting outside.
Every family in America should prepare itself for a terrorist attack.
Now to escaping from a skyscraper. John Rivers is the CEO of the Executive Chute Corporation. Good morning to you, John.
Good morning, Matt.
Tell me about the product you're bringing to the market.
It's a emergency escape chute. It's an option of last resort.
How high do you have to be in the building for that chute to actually take effect?
You only have to be on the 10th floor or above.
They can put this on themselves?
Right. They can put this on themselves in as easy as about 30 seconds. It's real easy to put on.
Sorry.
It's okay. Real easy to put on, but when you first get this chute, you're going to want to put it on and try it on a few times yourself.
Jamie's having a little trouble putting that thing on, I want to mention. I mean, is this something that you honestly think in a moment of panic that someone can operate properly?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. This is actually, Jamie's probably never put this thing on before in her life, so it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's something that when you get it, you're going to want to put it on several times.
Well, despite the raising of the terror alert level, residents here in Saginaw are continuing with their Christmas errands. Frances Stroik and her family do some last-minute holiday shopping, knowing that Al-Qaeda is planning to attack America. She says being in Saginaw doesn't make her feel any safer than if she was in New York City.
Midland is close by, and I said Detroit's that far away. I said they could be something, and Flint, this could be something, concerns for people around here.
Well, you never know where they're going to head.
You never know where they're going to hit.
But one potential target specifically mentioned by the terrorist has security officials baffled. It's tiny Tappahannock, Virginia, population 2016. Such an attack could generate widespread fear that even here in rural small-town America, no one is entirely safe.
On the 6 o'clock news, there was something but a terrorist alert in Tappahannock.
What'd the FBI tell you?
Well, they contacted me by phone. Basically let me know about this word Tappahannock, and that's how it started.
And their so-called chatter that they pick up, they wasn't sure Tappahannock. It is a Rappahannock County. This is the Rappahannock River.
There is a Rappahannock, a place called Rappahannock, and they got it mixed up.
This Tappahannock, not Rappahannock.
Is there any terrorist target around here?
Not that we can really think of.
It can happen anywhere.
We have a Walmart here.
We have a big spaghetti supper in here.
Walmart, probably.
Do you feel extra suspicious of outsiders?
Oh, everybody does that. It's just something that happens.
When I look at certain people, I wonder, oh my goodness, do you think they could be a terrorist?
You never know what's gonna happen.
That's right, you never know what's gonna happen.
You never know what's gonna happen. It's gonna happen right now, you know. Never trust nobody you don't know. And even if you do know them, you really can't trust them then.
Da Tappahannock a Rappahannock, fino al più sperduto villaggio d'America, la gente aveva paura e chiedeva al suo presidente di essere protetta. Ma protetta da cosa?
Let the eagle soar like she's never soared before, from rocky coast to golden shore. Let the mighty eagle soar.
Questo signore è John Ashcroft. Nel 2000 si era ricandidato senatore nel Missouri contro un rivale che morì un mese prima delle elezioni, ma che prese lo stesso più voti di lui. Così George W. lo nominò ministro della giustizia. Prestò giuramento su una pila di Bibbie perché se sei uno che si fa battere persino da un morto, è meglio andare sul sicuro. Nell'estate che precedette l'11 settembre, Ashcroft disse al direttore ad interim dell'FBI, Thomas Picard, che non voleva più sentir parlare di minacce terroriste.
Mr. Watson had come to you and said that the CIA was very concerned that there would be an attack. You said that you told the Attorney General this fact repeatedly in these meetings. Is that correct?
I told him at least on 2 occasions.
And you told the staff, according to this statement, that Mr. Ashcroft told you that he did not want to hear about this anymore. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Quell'estate l'FBI, che dipende dal Ministero della Giustizia, aveva appreso che membri di Al-Qaeda si trovavano in territorio americano e che Bin Laden aveva fatto iscrivere propri agenti a diverse scuole di volo. Eppure Ashcroft fece finta di niente. In compenso, dopo l'11 settembre, partorì alcune idee geniali su come proteggere l'America.
The USA Patriot Act, adopted by Congress and signed by Bush 6 weeks after the attacks, has changed the way the government does business. The USA Patriot Act allows for searches of medical and financial records, computer and telephone conversations, and even for the books you take out of the library. But most of the people we spoke to say they're willing to give up some liberties to fight terrorism.
Maybe that's a good thing.
It's definitely sad, but it has to be done.
Certo, qualcosa bisognava fare. Le tranquille persone che vedete sono i fondatori di Peace Fresno, un collettivo che ha sede appunto a Fresno, in California. Diversamente dalla maggior parte di noi, hanno capito presto cosa significa nei fatti il Patriot Act. Ogni settimana si incontrano per discutere intorno al tema della pace. Si mettono comodi, si scambiano opinioni, mangiano un biscottino, qualcuno anche 2 o 3. Questo è Aaron Stokes, un membro di Peace Fresno. Era simpatico a tutti.
He had come to the meetings, he went with us. We go out on Friday nights and stand on a very busy corner in Fresno. And he had gone with us, he had handed out flyers. He went with us in June to a WTO protest.
Un bel giorno, Aaron non si presenta alla solita riunione.
My friend Dan and I were reading the Sunday newspaper. And when I picked up the paper, in the local section, Aaron's picture caught my eye. The article said that a sheriff's deputy had been killed, and I saw it had a name that wasn't the right name. It said that he was a member of the sheriff's anti-terrorism unit.
Infatti, L'uomo ritratto nella foto sul giornale non si chiamava Aaron Stokes, come credevano loro. Era in realtà il vice sceriffo Aaron Kilner, che si era infiltrato nel collettivo.
Sheriff Pierce made it very clear that, yes, in fact, Aaron Kilner was assigned to infiltrate Peace Fresno, that he was able to infiltrate organizations that are open to the public.
È fin troppo evidente per quale ragione la polizia spiava un gruppo come Peace Fresno. Guardate che facce. La classica banda di terroristi. Barry Reingold è un lavoratore dei telefoni in pensione. Vive a Oakland, in California. A Barry piace andare in palestra. È un bel giorno, tra un cardio fitness e la macchina dei pesi, c'è scappata un po' di politica.
We're up in the gym and it was after we were working out and a number of us were talking about 9/11 and Afghanistan and bin Laden, and someone said, bin Laden's a real asshole for murdering those people, and I said, yeah, that's true, but he'll never be as big an asshole as Bush, who bombs all over the world for oil profits.
Non c'era stato nemmeno bisogno che la polizia si scomodasse per spiarlo. Ai suoi compagni di palestra non era parso vero di andarlo a denunciare.
I was taking a nap, and I guess it was 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they came to my place, and
I said, well, who's there? And I said, the FBI. I said, the FBI? I mean, why are they here?
Sì, si presentò a casa di Barry l'FBI. E non per fare aerobica.
The FBI said, have you been talking to people about 9/11 and about bin Laden and oil profits in Afghanistan? I said, a lot of people are talking about these things. I feel my rights have been, trampled on. I mean, if you have something to say to me in the gym, well then, fine. Don't tell the FBI and they come to my apartment while I'm taking a nap.
There's nothing to be ashamed of here. There's full transparency. There's nothing about the Patriot Act that I'm ashamed of in any way, shape, or form. I have a 1-800 number. Call me. I'm the guy you call if there's a violation or an abuse. If you've got a poster child on this, I want to see it. That's what I do. I'm hired by the people of the United States to provide oversight. I provide oversight.
Trent Lott said the day the bill was introduced, maybe now we can do things we've wanted to do for the last 10 years.
No, I've always, a dictatorship would be a heck of a lot easier. There's no question about it.
I mean, they had all this on the shelf somewhere, ideas of things they would like to do. And they got 9/11 and they said, it's our chance, go for it.
There was an immediate assumption on the part of the administration that there had to be a surrender of certain of our rights.
There's several definitions in the bill that are quite troubling. First of all, the definition of terrorist, and it's so expansive that it could include people who...
Like me. No one read it. That's the whole point. They wait till the middle of the night, they drop it in the middle of the night, it's printed in the middle of the night, and the next morning when we come in, it passes.
How could Congress pass this Patriot Act without even reading it?
Sit down, my son. We don't read most of the bills. Do you really know what that would entail if we were to read every bill that we passed? Well, the good thing, it would slow down the legislative process.
Mi sembrava incredibile che di fatto nessun parlamentare avesse letto il testo del Patriot Act prima di votarlo. Perciò decisi che se volevo compiere un atto, questo sì, realmente patriottico, glielo dovevo leggere io.
Members of Congress, this is Michael Moore. I would like to read to you the USA Patriot Act. Section 1, Section 210 of this code reads as follows. Section 2703.
My job is to secure the homeland, and that's exactly what we're going to do. But I'm here to take somebody's order. That would be you, Stress. What would you like?
Right behind you.
I'm going to order some ribs.
Si sa che non è possibile difendere la patria a stomaco vuoto. E perché sia garantita la sicurezza, qualche sacrificio dobbiamo farlo tutti. Specialmente il piccolo Patrick Hambleton. Ognuno di noi ha qualche tragicomico aneddoto di sicurezza aeroportuale da raccontare. Questo è il mio preferito. La minaccia terrorista era rappresentata da una riserva di latte materno.
I thought, well, if I just put a little bit on my lips, then that would be sufficient, because obviously I'm tasting it. And she looked at me, and I felt like she was telling me, you need to chug that. She goes, no, you need to drink more. And of a 4-ounce bottle, I wound up drinking 2 more ounces of breast milk that then, because it's touched my lips, has to be tossed.
Gli apparati di sicurezza interna non si limitavano a bandire il latte materno dagli aerei. Infatti, facevano di tutto per evitare che qualcuno, una volta a bordo, potesse dar fuoco a una miccia.
I can bring that on the plane. Actually, you can, yes, you're fine. Oops, 1 too many books of matches. You can have 4 books of matches and 2 lighters.
When we already have the experience of Richard Reed, the shoe bomber, who would have blown up an airplane with his shoe bomb had he had a butane lighter, according to the FBI. Why would the Transportation Security Agency say it's okay to take 4 books of matches and 2 butane lighters in your pockets as you board an airplane? I'm guessing that somebody put pressure on them to say, you know, when an airplane lands, people want to light up pretty quickly, so don't take their lighters away.
Dunque, vediamo se ho capito bene. Anziani in palestra, male. Collettivi pacifisti a Fresno, male. Latte materno, malissimo. Fiammiferi e accendini in aereo, nessun problema. Era davvero in gioco la nostra sicurezza? O c'era dell'altro che bolliva in pentola? Qui l'Oceano Pacifico incontra le spiagge dell'Oregon. Oltre 150 chilometri di una costa splendida e priva di difese naturali, affacciata su acque internazionali. E, grazie ai tagli al bilancio, sapete quanti sono i poliziotti che la sorvegliano? 1. Part-time. Ecco l'agente Brooks.
I maybe get a chance to hit this stretch of highway once, maybe twice a week during my shifts. You know, it's just to even drive up here and look. You know, I mean, as far as I know, there's lots of things they could do. I don't even want to suspect because it just makes me ill inside.
Intanto, al comando locale della Polizia di Stato, sempre grazie ai tagli al bilancio, l'agente Kenyon è dovuto venire a lavorare nonostante oggi sia il suo giorno libero.
For the most part, especially during the summertime, when people show up here, this is exactly what they get. They close the door. They can read the sign about the office closure, and it just basically explains that, you know, due to our cutbacks, our office is not open for administrative business. And there's a little sign down at the bottom that explains when the office is closed, that they can use the phone booth to get in touch with our dispatch. Ironically enough, that phone is a piece of junk. It doesn't work very well, so half the time they pick up the phone and dispatch gets a bunch of static and they don't hear anything. For Tuesday, there'll be no troop on patrol. Wednesday, there'll be no troop on patrol. Thursday, there'll be no troop on patrol. You get calls all the time. People will call in a suspicious vehicle or somebody looking suspicious, you know, and I don't hardly ever respond to that anymore. I just don't have the time to do it. One night I asked, how many people do we have in the state of Oregon on duty tonight? And we had 8 troopers on for the entire state of Oregon working.
I think, you know, Oregon is a prime example that Homeland Security is not as secure as what I think people would like to believe.
Nobody sent me any manual that says, here's how you catch a terrorist, you know, and if I had that manual, I'd read it, but I don't, so, yeah.
Naturalmente l'amministrazione Bush non ha mai distribuito un manuale sul modo più efficace di affrontare la minaccia terrorista, perché il punto in questione non era la minaccia terrorista. Volevano solo spaventare gli americani quanto bastava perché dessero il proprio consenso a un piano che era già pronto da tempo.
4 minutes.
All right. All right.
What time? 3 minutes. 30 seconds.
15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
My fellow citizens, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger. On my orders, coalition forces have begun striking selected targets of military importance to undermine Saddam Hussein's ability to wage war.
Il 19 marzo 2003, George W. Bush e le forze armate degli Stati Uniti hanno invaso l'Iraq. Un paese sovrano, un paese che non aveva mai attaccato gli Stati Uniti, un paese che non aveva mai minacciato di attaccare gli Stati Uniti, un paese che non aveva mai provocato la morte di un solo cittadino statunitense.
شنو ذنبه خلي يقاتلون جندي والله جبنا طلعت عليهم بالدود قلت له يضربني ما يرضى يضربني قمعهم وهذا اللي بقى الحلفه جيب علي يعلقه على الحلفه ترى النار يدبك يموت ما يموت
We are going to find this, I think, piece of my neighbor, young girl, age 20, Shams. I think it's the other part of her body. That's all.
There is a lot of innocent civilians that were killed, and I think that is because the U.S. Army, we came in and we knew it wasn't going to be easy, and they pretty much at first shot anything that moved.
When war happens and the fighting starts, it's kind of like we're pumped up, motivated, ready to go.
It's the ultimate rush, because you're going into the fight to begin with, and then you got a good song playing in the background, and that gets you real fired up, ready to do the job.
You can hook your CD player up to the tank's internal communication
Charlie
system.
box.
So that way when you put your helmet on, you can hear it through the helmet.
This is the one we listen to the most. This is the one we try when we kill the enemy. Johnny Poole at the body set the floor is just fitting for the job we were doing.
We picked the roof was on fire because basically it symbolized Baghdad being on fire, and at the time we wanted it to burn to get Saddam and his regime out.
The roof is on fire. We don't need no water, let the motherfucker burn. Burn, motherfucker, burn. We don't need no water, let the motherfucker burn. Burn, motherfucker, burn.
This is a whole totally different picture here, being pushed into the city, urban warfare in a tank, civilians.
The civilians, it gets.
You don't know who's friendly,
because we're not.
who's the enemy.
This was a lot more real and true than just a video game. A lot of people thought it was just me. Oh yeah, look through the sight and shoot. No, a lot of this is face to face, and especially riding by after some of the bombs have went off and seeing all the people on the side of the road bloated up, and just all the smells around you. I mean, from the people lying dead, rotted, and it's a lot more gruesome than you think.
We called in with some artillery and some napalm and things like that. Some innocent women and children got hit. We met them on the road, and they had little girls with noses blowing off, and like husbands carrying their dead wives and things like that. That was extremely difficult to deal with, because you're like, shoot, like, what the hell do we do now?
The targeting capabilities and the care that goes into targeting is as impressive as anything anyone could see.
Got it. Good. Second one. Hit the other one.
The care that goes into it, the humanity that goes into it.
ما عندهم يقين ما يعرفوا كل شيء لا هي الاسلام لا مسيحيين ما حد يعرف عملوا فوز العالم هكذا الله يهدم بيوتهم الله يخرب بيوتهم الله اكبر والنصر للعراق والنصر للعراق وكلنا فدائيين للعراق.
شو رايك احد يضرب المدنيين يعني؟
ايه مدنيين هي كلها هذا بيت عمنا كله مدنيين هم عسكريين كله مدنيين يضربون من الله ينتقم منهم. حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل. 5 جنازات من جنازات فقد بيت يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله. الله انتقم منهم الله خذ حقنا منهم. وينك الله وينك الله.
Honestly, I think we should just trust our president in every decision that he makes, and we should just support that, and be faithful in what happens.
Do you trust this president?
Yes, I do.
Britney Spears è in buona compagnia. La maggioranza degli americani appoggia il presidente. Del resto, può fare altrimenti alla fine di un anno che Bush ha dedicato quasi interamente a fornire all'opinione pubblica gli argomenti necessari a giustificare l'invasione?
Saddam Hussein has gone to elaborate lengths, spent enormous sums, taken great risks to build and keep weapons of mass destruction.
Saddam Hussein is determined to get his hands on a nuclear bomb.
Nuclear weapon, nuclear weapon, nuclear weapon.
Active chemical munitions bunkers, mobile production facilities.
We know he's got chemical weapons. He's got them, he's got them, he's got them.
E pensare che all'inizio del mandato gli uomini di Bush sostenevano esattamente il contrario.
He has not developed any significant capability with respect to weapons of mass destruction. He is unable to project conventional power against his neighbors.
We are able to keep arms from him. His military forces have not been rebuilt.
Saddam Hussein aids and protects terrorists, including members of Al-Qaeda.
There was a relationship between Iraq and Al-Qaeda.
Saddam, Al-Qaeda, Saddam, Al-Qaeda, Saddam, the Al-Qaeda, Saddam, 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 Al-Qaeda.
It is only a matter of time before terrorist states armed with weapons of mass destruction develop the capability to deliver those weapons to U.S. cities.
What we're giving you are facts and conclusions based on solid intelligence.
It's a man who hates America. This is a man who cannot stand what we stand for. His willingness to terrorize himself. He hates the fact, like Al-Qaeda does, that we love freedom. After all, this is the guy that tried to kill my dad at one time.
They simply got people to believe that there was a real threat out there when in fact there wasn't one.
You get told things every day that don't happen. It doesn't seem to bother people.
Meno male che c'erano i democratici per porre fine a questo balletto di falsità.
I will vote to give the president the authority he needs.
The United States is prepared to lead a coalition of the willing that will do it.
When I say we will lead a coalition of the willing to disarm him if he chooses not to disarm, I mean it.
Who's in that coalition of the willing now?
You will find out who's in the coalition of the willing.
The coalition of the willing. Roll call. The Republic of Palau. The Republic of Costa Rica. The Republic of Iceland.
Ovviamente nessuno di questi paesi dispone di un esercito né di armamenti. Di conseguenza tutto lascia supporre che il grosso del lavoro gli americani dovranno farlo da soli. In compenso potranno contare su altre potenze.
Romania, the Kingdom of Morocco.
Ufficialmente il Marocco non fa parte della coalizione, ma secondo fonti giornalistiche si è offerto di inviare in Iraq 2000 scimmie per la bonifica dei campi minati.
These are men of vision.
The Netherlands.
And I'm proud to call them allies.
Afghanistan.
L'Afghanistan. Eh sì, un esercito ce l'ha. Quello degli Stati Uniti. Ecco come si fa a mettere insieme una coalizione. Basta continuare a invadere paesi sempre nuovi. Ebbene, con la super alleanza in forma smagliante, l'America è pronta ad agire.
One could almost say it's the mother of all coalitions.
Per fortuna c'è un organo di stampa indipendente sempre ansioso di dire la verità.
The rallying around the president, around the flag, and around the troops clearly has begun.
And we're gonna win!
You really have to be with the troops to understand that kind of adrenaline rush that they get.
I just want you to know, I think Navy SEALs rock.
The pictures you're seeing are absolutely phenomenal.
When my country is at war, I want my country to win.
Iraqi opposition has faded in the face of American power.
What you're watching here is truly historic television and journalism.
It was absolutely electrifying. They actually had to strap me in with my camera at the back of the plane.
An awesome synchronized killing machine.
There is an inherent bias in the coverage of the American press in general.
Am I slanted and biased? You damn well bet I am.
Il dramma che i media omettono di raccontare è la storia personale di ciascuno dei soldati caduti in guerra. Il governo di Washington non permette che le telecamere mostrino le loro bare al rientro in America. È un genere di notizia che deprime l'opinione pubblica, specialmente se sono in corso i preparativi per una grande festa in barca.
My fellow Americans, major combat operations in Iraq have ended. In the Battle of Iraq, the United States and our allies have prevailed.
The number of troops killed by hostile fire.
244 U.S. troops. 384 U.S. troops have lost their lives.
Killed 484. Died in the line of duty 500.
631 American
More than
troops.
825 troops have been killed in Iraq.
Largest number of American military deaths since Vietnam.
There are some who feel like that if they attack us, that we may decide to leave prematurely. They don't understand what they're talking about if that's the case. Let me finish. There are some who feel like that, the conditions are such that they can attack us there. My answer is bring them on.
The United States was planning on just walking through here like it was going to be easy and all, but it's not that easy to conquer a country, is it?
The renewed battle for control of Iraq raged for a fourth day today with street clashes in nearly every corner of the country. Iraq could become, quote, another Vietnam.
Officials say they see evidence that Sunni and Shiite extremists might be joining forces.
They're not happy they're occupied. I wouldn't be happy if I were occupied either.
Everybody, here we go. Come on, party people. Throw your hands in the air. Come on, party people.
2 Japanese aid workers and a journalist kidnapped by men calling themselves the Mujahideen Squadrons. They threatened to burn the hostages alive if Japan does not withdraw its troops from Iraq within 3 days.
What's happened?
They attacked our convoy. Hamill. Thomas.
The Pentagon might keep up to 24,000 troops in combat beyond their tour.
I know our numbers in the military have gone down. They talk about retention.
Never really expected to be deployed this long. I don't think anybody did.
I don't have any clue as to why we're still in Iraq.
If Donald Rumsfeld was here, I'd ask him for his resignation.
Una guerra che non dà i risultati sperati e forze di occupazione bisognose di rinforzi. Dove si possono trovare nuove reclute?
Military experts say 3 times the 120,000 U.S. troops now deployed would be needed to pacify and rebuild the country.
Semplice, in giro per l'America. In quelle aree che l'economia ha lasciato in ginocchio. Posti in cui la sola alternativa alla disoccupazione è l'arruolamento. Posti come Flint, nel Michigan, la città in cui sono nato io.
And I was watching TV one day and they showed like some of the buildings and areas that had been hit by bombs and things like that. And while watching, I got to thinking like, it's parts of Flint that look like that.
Exactly.
And we ain't been in a war.
Look at the neighborhood I live in. Most of them are abandoned. I mean, that's not right. You want to talk about terrorism? Come right here. President Bush right here. Come right here. He knows about this corner. I emailed him.
At the end of January of '04, the unemployment rate in Flint was actually 17%, but you have to take into consideration as well that when your unemployment runs out, you're no longer counted. I would say that we're probably close to at least 50% not working or underemployed, because being underemployed is just as dangerous. So my family has gone through the welfare system. When it was Job Central in the mid-'80s, I came through the Job Training Partnership program here at Job Central, and I went to a secretary school. Years later, I'm the executive assistant to the president of the agency. Interesting. My mother used to tell me all the time that, why do you always go for the underdog? It was because the underdog is who needed me. People that don't have anything That's who I have to fight for, and that's who I have fought for my entire life. I started taking my children and telling my children, the military is a good option. I can't afford to have you go to college. I cannot pay your way. Financial aid will not help you. So I, as a mother, started teaching my children about the options that the military could do. They would take them around the world. They would see all the things that I, as a mother, could not let them see. It would pay for their education that I, as their mother, and their father could not pay for them.
Military is a good option for kids in Flint.
Military is an excellent option for the people in the city of Flint.
How many of you have a friend or a family member in the service? Anybody currently serving overseas?
Brother of mine, my cousin.
Yeah,
cousin.
Where's your brother?
Iraq.
Germany.
My cousin got shipped off to Iraq like 3 days ago. Dang. There's like a Army or Navy recruiter or Marines recruiter up there almost every week. He's in the lunchroom recruiting students from out the lunchroom.
There are people with a calling. Most serve 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year. Earning money for college. Protecting their community. In the Army National Guard, you can.
I'm going into the Air Force myself. I'm gonna take a year off probably after high school and then just go and make a career. I wanna be an aircraft maintenance technician.
I ran into a recruiter and there was something I noticed about it, and this is kind of on another, it was just, I noticed it was odd. It was more like he was hiring me for a job than recruiting me for the Army. It was the way he approached me. He approached a friend of mine. I was in Borders, Books and Music. He just came up, it was like he was handing us a business card. He had business cards made for the Army and everything.
Vi presento il sergente maggiore Dale Cortman e il sergente Raymond Plowhar del Corpo dei Marines. Sono due dei tanti sottufficiali di reclutamento assegnati alla città di Flint e in questi giorni hanno un grande affare.
Look at, he's running away already. Seen this coming.
Yeah. What do we got here? Need a little gangster.
Yeah.
We're heading over to the Cortland Mall right now.
Hanno deciso di evitare il centro commerciale di Genesee Valley che si trova nei sobborghi eleganti, dove i giovani non hanno la minima voglia di farsi reclutare. Sono andati direttamente nell'altra zona commerciale.
Let's go in through Mervyn's.
In through Mervyn's?
And then we can walk straight down,
straight
back, and then go down to the lunchroom or whatever.
Yep.
Gents, you know we're looking at you, right? You guys ever think about joining up?
Thought about going to college and playing basketball.
Okay.
So.
You any good?
Yeah, oh yeah, especially basketball.
Good. You can play ball for the Marine Corps as well. You know, travel around the world, getting on the Marine Corps basketball team. David Robinson was in the military as well.
Oh, was
so
he?
yeah, you can definitely hook it up. So
Right now, there's somebody out there who wants to be a Marine but has no idea how to do it.
where you work at?
I work at KFC on
Sweet.
Dorton Lapeer.
You can hook us up with some deals.
Yes.
They're waiting to get recruited.
I don't know. I was probably gonna try to get a little career in music or something.
Career music. Maybe we can get you a career in music. You know, let the Marines go for it. I'm sure you know who Shaggy is, right?
Yeah.
You know anything about him?
Yeah, he the Jamaican.
Yeah. How about a former Marine?
Oh.
Did you know it? You definitely need to know discipline if you're gonna get into music.
Yeah, I understand.
Especially discipline with the money. When you make $1 million, you need to manage that money. So come in the office, we can sit down and talk, show you everything we know about the Marines. Sound like a plan?
What do you got going on later this afternoon? How about tomorrow? We say right around 10 o'clock Monday morning.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Okay. You want me to come pick you up? Better to get them when they're ones and twos.
Hey, pal.
And work on them that way.
How are you? Ladies, you ready to join up? Green hat right behind us. Looks young. He's young.
Yeah. We're in town.
Yeah. We got two over here.
Yeah.
Right over by the red van.
Yeah.
You go that way, I go this way, we corner them. You're in the 9th grade.
Yes, sir.
Man, you look older than 9th grade, so.
Yes, sir.
All right, here's my card.
You ever thought about being a Marine, man?
I thought about it. I got a wife and kid now, so.
Okay.
Even more reason to join up. What I want to do, man, real quick is just get some information from you so I can scratch you off my list saying I've already talked to you and you know you're not interested. Is that cool? All right. What's your name? What's your phone number? What's your address, Mario? Add another one to the list.
However, you know, one would love to have that chance to experience college life, you know, stuff young people can do without having the risk of dying in the process, I guess I can say candidly.
The holidays do add a little bit more friction as opposed to just another night in the fact that we want to give our guys a little bit time off, a little bit time to relax. However, we are in a combat zone. My soldiers do recognize that fact.
Everybody's a little bit nervous about it, I guess.
We're professionals. We're going to take care of you. I promise.
Every house here has the right to have weapons. Maximum, one AK-47. We always expect the targets to be armed.
Rock and roll.
Fucking bolt cutters. These goddamn things pry doors open. Pop this in there.
Better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. Gather round. He's making a list, checking it twice. He's gonna find out who's naughty and nice. Santa Claus is coming to town.
He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're away.
He knows if you've been bad or good.
So be good for goodness sake. You better watch out.
Hey, Adele, just hold up.
لا تبكي صحي النية لا تبكي بدنا نسأله صحي النية
Where's she going?
I'll go with her.
Where's she going?
She's gonna call him.
She's gonna call him?
Yeah.
No. Just where is he at right now? I need to, not on the phone. Not on the phone. Is he in the house? Is he in the house?
Bam! Pastorelli!
Is he in the house?
Pastorelli!
He is. He is in the house. Where? This is him?
Get up there. Second floor. Second floor.
Watch out. Go. Watch out, Adele. Watch out.
Hey, one coming up.
That's Sahib Al-Duri. Sahib Al-Duri. What's your name? Sahib. This is Sahib.
شو مسوي صاحب يا الله شو مسوي شو مسوي طالب من الجامعة الله بوسي.
Tell them
All right.
to calm down.
You guys moving up to the roof. Wait one.
It will not be long. We appreciate your condescension. This is the target. Sahib Al-Duri, bring him out. We have to, as you go back to the old saying, we win the hearts and minds of the people. That's our job. We have to bring the ideal of democracy and freedom to the country and show them that the American people are not here to rule Iraq.
لا تخافي ما راح يضربك بس قولي الله يخليك ما يضربوني يعني ليش تكون عيني تعي الله يعطيك العافيه بس تسكتي عجيه ايش يحتاج
I start doing evidence turn-in. That process takes about 3 hours, so that's going to be it for the night, and that concludes Christmas Eve.
We all love you. He's gonna find out who.
Merry Christmas, BRT. Merry Christmas. Santa came to Iraq just for you guys.
Trying to keep the skies clear for you, Santa.
You consider yourself a proud American?
Absolutely. I'm extremely proud American. I think I'm probably more proud than the average Joe. When I put my flag out, I can't allow it to touch the ground. Because I know the lives that were lost and the blood that was shed so that I could be here and have a flag.
All right, how often do you put the flag out?
Every single day. Every single day. I started when my daughter was in Desert Storm. I had the same flag flying on my front porch and the same yellow ribbons, praying and hoping every single day that my child would come home safe and that everybody's child would come home safe.
And she did.
And she did.
You have other family members that have been in the military?
Absolutely. Uncles, aunts, cousins, brothers, father.
It's a very strong military.
Very strong.
Family.
My family is what I consider part of the backbone of America. It's families like mine, and it's not just my family. There's hundreds of families, millions of families out here that this country was founded on their backs. I have been known to be a conservative Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
what you consider yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great country.
It's a great country. It's a great country. The cross that I choose to wear, if you notice, it's a multicultural, a multicolored cross. That's because I believe that all God's people come in many colors. And my family itself is multicultural.
You have a daughter who went into the military. Then your firstborn son in the military. That's that's quite a gift to the country.
Exactly right.
From your family.
Exactly right.
So having a son in the Army, pretty proud thing.
Oh, you know what? He made it.
What was your reaction to the protesters during, let's say, the Gulf War or Vietnam?
I always hated the protesters. I always hated the protesters. It was just a slap in my face. It was just like they were dishonoring my son. And I burned in my soul to tell them, you don't understand. They're not there because they want to be there. But then I came to understand that they weren't protesting the men and the women that were there. They were protesting the concept of the war.
I know I'm a soldier and I'm here to do a job, and I've been a soldier for a while. Once you have to go and do your job and you see the things that you see, I was saying there's some disillusionment in that.
Lieutenant Commander fully expects us to be attacked in some type of way before we get to Fark Shell. I know that so far it's been pretty calm, not much has happened, but be aware that it can and it probably will.
They're beginning to organize themselves just in neighborhoods. The kids get together a lot. Well, I can't say kids, but guys about 17, 18 are starting to come together, and they hate us. Just why, I'm not really sure.
L'immoralità genera altra immoralità. Quando un presidente è così immorale da mandare dei ragazzi, fino al giorno prima solo dei ragazzi, a combattere una guerra fondata su delle falsità, ecco cosa si ottiene.
Hey, is he ticklish? Yes, he do. Don't tell me you don't know what it is. That motherfucker still has a heart on. I'm not on. Why are you touching somebody else? He touches dick.
To have these people shoot at us, kill us, blow us up, whatever means they can, and I don't understand it. We're trying to help these people, and it seems they don't want our help. Get out of here. But the minute something goes wrong with them, oh, why weren't you here? Why didn't you do this? You know, I hate this country.
You know, I feel that a part of your soul is destroyed and taking another life. And yeah, that statement is very true. You cannot kill someone without killing a part of yourself.
If you get called up, will you go back to Iraq?
No.
You're not?
No.
What repercussions do you face if you don't?
Possible jail time. That's one possible thing.
Are you willing to risk that?
Yes. Yes, I will not let my person, I will not let anyone send me back over there to kill other poor people, especially when they pose no threat to me and my country. I won't do it.
This is an impressive crowd, the haves and the have-mores. Some people call you the elite. I call you my base.
Mentre si dava da fare per coccolare la sua base e sbandierare il suo affetto per le forze armate, Bush proponeva di ridurre del 33% la paga dei soldati al fronte e del 60% i fondi per il sostegno dei loro familiari. Si opponeva a un nuovo stanziamento di $1 miliardo per l'assistenza sanitaria ai veterani e si pronunciava a favore della chiusura di ospedali per ex combattenti. Proponeva inoltre di raddoppiare il ticket sui medicinali agli stessi ex combattenti e negava la piena estensione della previdenza ai riservisti part-time. E quando il sergente maggiore Brett Patricken, di Flint anche lui, è caduto in Iraq il 26 maggio, l'esercito ha mandato ai familiari la sua busta paga mensile, decurtata degli ultimi 5 giorni in cui non aveva lavorato, perché era morto.
They say they're not going to leave any veteran behind, but they're leaving all kinds of veterans behind.
To say that we're forgotten, no, but I know we're not forgotten, but missed, yes. Yes, you know, there's a lot of soldiers that have been missed. You know, they've been skipped over. That didn't get the proper coverage that they deserve.
They have a death toll, but they're not showing the amount of people that's being injured or being amputated because of the injuries, you know.
Like, I still feel like I have hands.
Yeah.
And the pain is like my hands are being crushed in a vice. But they do a lot to help it, and they take a lot of the edge off of it, and it makes it a lot more tolerable. And
I was injured in late April on patrol in Baghdad. A couple of guys come out and ambushed us. I got nerve damage and stuff like that. I've
got a lot of pain. I'm constantly in pain. Take a lot of morphine to help with that and stuff. Doing, you know, just readjusting, getting life back on track. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm not gonna do what it is that I did before. I was a Republican for quite a few years, and for some reason they conduct business in a very dishonest way. I'm going to be incredibly active in the Democratic Party down where I live once I get out. So I'm going to definitely do my best to ensure that the Democrats win control.
Iraq, Baghdad, I didn't know anything of those things. And we were in the hallway in the upstairs of our house, and he was crying, and he said that he was really scared, and he didn't want to have to go to Iraq. So we were able to have a whole conversation about sometimes some fear is healthy because it keeps our senses about us. And that's when he told me that he had not told anybody else, but he knew he was going to Baghdad.
Wow.
We were, as everybody, we were glued to the TV. Just glued, completely glued to the television in hopes of seeing a glimpse of him. Can't you please go over to where the helicopters are? Can't you please let us see him? Then that night, it was about 10-something. I went upstairs to the bedroom, and I was laying in bed, and I was flipping the channels with the remote. All I heard was Black Hawk Down, South Central Iraq.
What I can tell you at this hour is that last night the Army did indeed lose a Black Hawk helicopter. We are being told by officers on the ground that there were 6 occupants inside the Black Hawk.
So the next morning, I got up and I said, you push those thoughts out of your mind. Okay, Jesus, I need you to come in. I need you, Jesus. You got to help me through this. The Army called me, and I remember getting on the phone and him asking me, was I Lila Lipscomb? And I said, yes. And he said, mother of Sergeant Michael Pedersen. And I remember dropping the telephone. And all I can honestly say that I remember is, ma'am, the United States Army, the Secretary of Defense, regretfully informs you. That's all I know. The grief grabbed me so hard that I literally fell on the floor. And I was alone. I didn't have anybody to pick me up. So I literally crawled over to my desk and was hanging on. And I remember screaming, why does it have to be Michael? Why did you have to take my son? Why is it my son that you had to take? He didn't do anything. He wasn't a bad guy. He was a good guy. Why did you have to take my son?
I can't imagine what it would be like to lose a son or a daughter or a husband or a wife, for that matter. And it pains me.
You had his last letter?
Mm-hmm. And it was mailed March 16th, but I didn't get it until probably a week before he was killed. Hello. Hey, Mama. Well, sorry I haven't been able to call. They took the phone 7 days ago. I got the letter and box. That is so cool. Your first grandson came the same day your oldest son did. How is everyone? I'm doing fine. We are just out here in the sand in windstorms, waiting. What in the world is wrong with George? Trying to be like his dad, Bush. He got us out here for nothing whatsoever. I am so furious right now, Mama. I really hope they do not re-elect that fool, honestly. I am in good spirits and I am doing okay. I really miss you guys. Thanks for the Bible. And books. And candy. I really look forward to letters from you guys. Well, I'll tell all the family hello and that I am doing fine. We don't expect anything to happen anytime soon. I cannot wait to get home and get back to my life. Tell Sputnik congrats, and I'll see my first nephew soon. As soon as I get back to the States. Hope you guys are doing okay, and keep sending the mail. It makes getting through the days easier. Well, I am on my way to bed, so I will write you guys soon. I love and miss all of you guys. I want him to be alive, and I can't make him alive. But your flesh just aches. You want your child, it's out of sync. A parent is not supposed to bury their child.
I feel sad for my family because we lost our son. But I really feel sorry for the other families that is losing their kids as we speak. And for what? I don't. That's I guess, the sickening part. For what?
You've heard a lot about Halliburton lately. Criticism is okay. We can take it. Criticism is not failure. Our employees are doing a great job. We're feeding the soldiers. We're rebuilding Iraq. Will things go wrong? Sure they will. It's a war zone. We're serving the troops because of what we know, not who we know.
Well, let me tell you about Halliburton, the company I ran. I'm very proud of what I did at Halliburton. The people of Halliburton are very proud of what they've accomplished, and I frankly don't feel any need to apologize for the way I've spent my time over the last 5 years as the CEO and chairman of a major American corporation.
Yeah, this is also an attempt to divert attention away from the fact they have no energy policy. And as the Secretary of Energy said, we were caught unawares.
In piena guerra, la Microsoft, la DHL e altre imprese hanno invitato la Halliburton a un convegno per valutare i profitti che si potrebbero realizzare in Iraq.
Having worked this effort even since before the invasion, the liberation of Iraq started, you, industry, are definitely a vital part of that effort. We appreciate your interest in this. We need you.
Now, lots of you are small businesses and you're struggling. How do we get piece of this big action? All of you, the big guys, are going to get it, and the rest of us have subcontracting capability or none at all. USTDA is for you. Once that oil starts flowing and money coming, it's going to be lots of money. It's the second largest reserve of oil in the world. There's no question about how much money is that.
I've been getting complaints from Iraqi firms and from American firms that the lack of transparency, the corruption. I think the profits that American companies are making, the main companies, are so overwhelming. I mean, like when you have a line item for $1 million and you subcontract it out for $50,000 or $60,000 or $70,000, that's a huge profit. And it's the American taxpayer that's going to pay for that.
And it's going to get better. Start building relationships, because it's going to get much better as the oil flows and their budget increase. And the good news is, whatever it costs, the government will pay you.
War is always good for certain companies, I mean, that are in the war, the business of war.
We're very proud of the work we're doing, again, in supporting the U.S. government and the U.S. military. And the real heroes of the campaign, the real heroes of the Reconstruction are the men and women of the U.S. Armed Forces. And we're very proud to be any part of that we can in supporting them.
Halliburton delivers hot meals, supplies, clean clothing, and communications to our soldiers so they can be a little closer to home.
It's a girl. It's a girl.
Halliburton, proud to serve our troops.
I just read in the paper Halliburton got another contract. Halliburton got another contract. That's right. Which is not being contested at all.
Because nobody knows.
Well, it's in the paper, so somebody knows.
But that's after it happens. It's after the fact. It's too late.
The United States is now a major player in the Iraqi oil business. American troops guard the oil fields as Texas oil workers assess their potential.
So it's a safe environment to work in. We don't feel any risk. We feel like we're being well protected here, or we wouldn't be here.
It's no secret. I mean, I make anywhere, I don't know, between $2,000 and $3,000 a month. A Halliburton employee out here driving a bus can make all between $8,000 and $10,000 a month. Explain that one to me. For 40 hours a week, driving the same 2.5 mile route. Go figure. Where's the justification in that?
There's no other single area of the world today with the opportunity for business, new business, similar to the opportunity that's available today in Iraq.
The president went in and did what he did, and we're all supporting him and our troops, and we want to make sure that, you know, the efforts and the lost lives, and it wasn't for no reason.
If it wasn't for the oil, nobody would be there. Nobody would worry about it.
Unfortunately, at least for the near term, we think it's going to be a good situation or a dangerous situation. Good for business, bad for the people.
Today on the news, Rumsfeld was saying, and Wolfowitz was saying, oh, the Iraqi people are much, much better off. Isn't it better that we got rid of Saddam and now the Iraqi people can do what they want to do and really be free? Will they ever be free? No, they'll not be free. And where are the weapons of mass destruction? We were duped. We were really duped. And these poor people, the young men and women who are being killed there, it's unnecessary. That's it. No more.
Disgrace.
They died in a just cause for defending freedom, and they will not have died in vain.
Laila mi aveva telefonato per dirmi che sarebbe venuta a Washington per partecipare a un convegno sui problemi dell'occupazione e che, in una pausa dei lavori, aveva intenzione di fare una visita alla Casa Bianca.
Who's killed children? Iraqi children.
My son killed.
Kill my people in Spain. Yesterday.
Yes.
These false lies kill people, your children too.
Yes, my son.
They have business to do in Iraq now, and they're killing all these young Americans.
Yes.
For what? For oil. Bush is a terrorist.
No, he isn't. This is all staged.
He's a Bush of
This is
Iraq.
all staged.
He's the
My
Bush
son.
of Iraq.
Where was he
You
killed?
tell me, my son.
Where was he
It's
killed?
not a
Bush is the
stage.
Bush of
Where was he
Iraq.
killed?
He was
Kill my
killed in
people
Karbala.
Spain by lying.
April 2nd is not a stage. My son is
They
dead.
didn't have to go to war.
There are a lot of
they
other
didn't
people,
have to
too.
attacking our people because of Bush. They fighting Look at it.
Blame Al-Qaeda.
What'd that woman yell at you?
That I'm supposed to blame the Al-Qaeda. The Al-Qaeda didn't make a decision to send my son to Iraq. Ignorance that we deal with everyday people, because they don't know. People think they know, but you don't know. I thought I knew, but I didn't know. I need my son. God's tougher than I thought it was gonna be to be here. But it's freeing also, because I finally have a place to put all my pain and all my anger and to release it.
Non ne potevo più di vedere persone come Laila Lipscomb soffrire in quel modo, soprattutto tenendo conto che su 535 membri del Congresso solo uno ha un figlio sul fronte iracheno. Così ho chiesto al caporale Henderson del Corpo dei Marines di accompagnarmi al Campidoglio. Ero curioso di vedere quanti parlamentari avremmo convinto a mandare i propri figli a combattere in Iraq.
Congressman, I'm Michael Moore.
Hey, Michael, how are you doing? I'm good. John Tanner.
Hey,
I'm
nice
Tennessee.
to meet you. Very nice to meet you.
What y'all doing?
Well, I'm here with Corporal Henderson, United States Marine Corps.
Corporal, I was in the Navy years ago, 1968 to 72. We had Marines guard the base.
You have kids?
Yeah.
If any way we can get them to enlist and go over there and help out with the effort. Got all the brochures.
One of them's got 2 children.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, there's not many congressmen that have got kids over there. In fact, only one. You know, so we just thought maybe, you know, you guys should send your kids there first.
That's
you know?
right.
What do you think about that idea?
I don't disagree with it.
Oh, you don't?
No.
All right. Oh, good. Well, here, take some brochures then. Here, at least take a Marine brochure.
I think, yeah.
And pass it around.
Yeah. Well,
Encourage the fellow members that, you know, if they're for the war, to get behind it. you know, and send their own.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Congressman? Michael Moore.
How you doing?
Good, good. Trying to get members of Congress to get their kids to enlist in the Army and go over to Iraq. Congressman? Congressman? Congressman Castle. Congressman Castle. Congressman. Congressman. Congressman Doolittle. Michael Moore.
No,
I'm wondering if, is there any way to...
Ovviamente nessuno di loro voleva sacrificare un figlio per la guerra in Iraq. E non si può certo fargliene una colpa. Chi sarebbe disposto a rinunciare a quanto ha di più caro? Voi? Lui? Mi ha sempre stupito che siano proprio le persone costrette a vivere nei quartieri peggiori, che frequentano le scuole peggiori e che hanno un peggior tenore di vita, a trovarsi regolarmente in prima fila quando c'è da difendere il sistema. Indossano la divisa permettendo a noi di fare altre cose. Sacrificano la loro vita per difendere la nostra libertà. È immenso quello che ci donano. E in cambio chiedono solamente che la loro incolumità non sia messa a repentaglio, a meno che non sia assolutamente indispensabile. Si fideranno ancora di noi?
He had used weapons. We know where they are. They're in the area around Tikrit and Baghdad and east, west, south, and north.
There is a tie between Iraq and what happened on 9/11.
The struggle can only end with their complete and permanent destruction.
We wage a war to save civilization itself. We did not seek it, but we will fight it, and we will prevail.
George Orwell ha scritto: non si tratta di stabilire se la guerra sia legittima o se invece non lo sia. La vittoria non è possibile. La guerra non è fatta per essere vinta, è fatta per non finire mai. Una società gerarchica è possibile solo se si basa su povertà e ignoranza. Questa nuova giustificazione della guerra attiene al passato, ma il passato non può essere che uno e uno soltanto. Di norma lo sforzo bellico persegue sempre lo scopo di tenere la società al limite della sopravvivenza. La guerra viene combattuta dalla classe dominante contro le classi subalterne e non ha per oggetto la vittoria sull'Eurasia o sull'Asia orientale, ma la conservazione dell'ordinamento sociale.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again."
Per una volta siamo d'accordo.